happy Thursday morning, May 21st, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Thursday morning, so let's begin. First up, 149 new COVID-19 cases, 51 in Manchester long-term care facility, announced in New Hampshire. 8 more Granite Staters die of coronavirus, health officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
Bell-Tate's building supply has been classified an essential business, and we take this responsibility very seriously. Now you have the option to place your orders via phone or email to orders@belltates.com for free delivery or curbside pickup. Stay safe because you matter to us.
"51 people at Villa Crest Nursing and Retirement in Manchester recently tested positive for COVID-19. Health officials say many weren't even symptomatic, and that's the hard part of fighting this virus.
To see 51 people come back positive is pretty, it's unimaginable to have that much positivity in your building and not have any symptoms at all. And it really is a testament to how difficult COVID is to fight.
Health leaders revealing today just how deadly the virus is in nursing homes and long-term care facilities. 1% of the state's long-term care population lost to COVID-19. The impact even more dire in other states in New England.
Rhode Island is at 5.7%, New York is at 3.2%, Maine 0.4%, Massachusetts 5.6%, and Connecticut 4%.
DHHS Commissioner Lori Shibinette says they compare with other states to see what's working and what's not and implement programs that seem to be effective. So far, they've tested about 60% of the state's nursing home residents and hope to complete that process in the coming days. And this population that is already isolated will be the last to open up to visitors.
Every death is a tragedy. Every long-term care facility that gets affected is a tragedy, not just for the residents, but the families and the staff that take care of those residents.
Now, health officials also said today they're trying to work out a finalized agreement with a team that would be able to go into any facility where a majority of the staff members were infected with the virus. Live in Concord, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. COVID-19 in New Hampshire. What you need to know. Let's take a look. And here is a look at that COVID-19 in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. There are 3,868 number of people in New Hampshire who have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,539,633 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 190 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 385 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 92,645 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. This map of New Hampshire shows you where current cases of COVID-19 are in New Hampshire. Derry, 186. This map of New Hampshire shows you where total cases of COVID-19 are in New Hampshire. Derry, 286. Let's take a look at these 3 charts here. The first chart, new cases each day in New Hampshire. In the purple, daily new positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, new hospitalizations. And in the red, deaths. Let's chart here current cases. In the purple, total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. In this chart here, total cases. In the purple, total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. In the blue, recovered. And this chart here shows you by age group of cases. This chart here, female and male. And this chart here, risk information. And then this chart here, race/ethnicity of cases. This chart here, hospitalizations. This chart here, deaths. And a look at this chart here, percent of New Hampshire population. Your common symptoms: fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads, and prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. Movie theaters, bowling alley owner propose guidelines for reopening. Ticketing system would ensure moviegoers separated in theater. Let's take a listen to that video from WR News 9.
When you cut lawns for a living, reliability matters. The Kubota commercial lineup with purpose-built mowers like this.
It's a great way to relax, rolling a few frames and taking in a movie. Today, the Economic Reopening Task Force heard proposals of what that may look like in the wake of the pandemic. Movie theaters will screen employees and require them to wear masks and gloves. Electronic and remote ticket buying is encouraged, and seating will be modified.
If a family of four buys a set of tickets, after the purchase is completed, our software will automatically block the seats around them in order to maintain distancing. Then as the next set of tickets are purchased, those seats around them will be blocked.
Movie theaters hope to be open by late June or early July in time to catch the end of the summer blockbuster season. Bowling alleys also made a pitch to open. Officials say summer is their slow season and the entire industry is hurting. Their two-phased approach would start with 50% capacity with an empty lane between groups and shoes and balls disinfected between use.
A lot of centers have planned on keeping all the bowling balls behind the desk and just handing sanitized balls out to each group and then collecting them again after they're done to be re-sanitized, so they're always being rotated.
Bowling officials say that they want to continue league play, but only under the guidelines that they proposed today. All of these proposals still have to be approved by the task force, health officials, and ultimately the governor. Reporting live, Mandy Hirschberger, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Dow features fall 200 points as Wall Street takes a breath from week's rally. Futures contracts tied to the major U.S. stocks index fell in Thursday early morning trade as investors took a breather from Wall Street's robust gains so far this week. COVID-19 ripping apart Navajo Nation families. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Couldn't
bear to go inside. Her son had been the first to die, and she was standing over his open grave when she got the call that her husband had also passed.
I couldn't move. It's my husband. I know he was okay when I left.
In all, 8 in the immediate family testing positive, Dorothy and several others hospitalized. We accompanied them on their first trip back. The puppies yapped, the grandkids gleeful to be back on that rope swing. But for Dorothy, the place felt haunted.
Just looking at it, it's sad. What happened in there?
We lost everything.
Yeah. I'm glad my husband's still in there.
His spirit, she meant. They'd been married nearly 45 years. With a dirt floor and no heating, it wasn't much, but it was home. The Navajo Nation is larger than West Virginia, but 40% of the people who live here don't have electricity. 30% don't have access to running water, which is why they come from all around to water wells like this. The reservation spanning parts of New Mexico, Arizona, and Utah, the COVID rate higher here than New York, and the area's biggest hospital at capacity for weeks now. This could be called the epicenter of COVID in the country right now.
Yes, you're totally right. We currently have a higher rate per capita than any state in the United States.
Big families have been the bedrock of Navajo culture, but in the age of COVID, it's made them vulnerable.
You have one contact that's positive, you literally can almost guarantee the whole household is infected as well, too.
Those not sick enough for the hospital, hundreds of them have been sent to 4 motels like this one in Gallup, New Mexico.
Good morning, my dear.
Dr. Eileen Ulku has been treating the Scotts for nearly 2 weeks now.
If you had told me 3 weeks ago that I would be starting elderly patients on oxygen and keeping them in a motel, closed up in a room, I would never have believed it.
Just incredible. They're now trying to save people inside that motel, too. So many corners of this country still in desperate need, and we're going to stay on this. Matt Gutman is on the Arizona side of the reservation tonight. And Matt, I know the doctors, the experts that you spoke with, say the peak there isn't actually expected until mid-June.
That's right, David. And when it hits, the medical director of the largest hospital in the area said they could look like New York did 2 months ago. Now, the Navajo leadership has taken extraordinary lengths to try to flatten that curve. There are closures, curfews, and every weekend, a 57-hour lockdown. David.
All right, Matt Gutman, our thanks to you. We're going to stay on these untold stories. Our special coverage continues later tonight right here, Pandemic and Nation Divided on Nightline, of course, on ABC News Live and across all of our broadcasts in the days ahead. Matt and the team, we thank you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for joining us for this evening edition of the Riley. Thank you for joining us for this morning edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. Have a great rest of your Thursday morning, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.